To Hometown Heartbeat, the pulse of Americana, with your beautiful bearded host, Zach Walker. Alabama's best no-holds-barred, constitutionally conservative, Christ-centered talk radio. If that don't fire you up, your wood's wet. Now, it's time for your bearded host, Zach Walker.
Good morning. Welcome into Hometown Heartbeat. I am your big, beautiful bearded host, Zach Walker. Checking in, producer Connor. Oh, wait, he's still on vacation. But Tony Mac, Antonio filling in, running the board for us this morning. What's going on, guys? Connor, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. Reading up on a lot of news last night.
What are you reading now? Oh, maybe we'll go shoot, fire, aim today.
I'm just reading about the VP pick.
So shoot, fire, aim it is. Sounds good. Antonio, what's going on, man?
This whole early thing again.
Yeah, I was about to say, how does that, how are you enjoying jumping up and being here at for the old bright-eyed and bushy-tailed shift?
Don't miss it. Don't miss it.
You sure you don't want to join the show full-time? We pay well.
I think I'm okay.
He said, keep your money.
That extra hour and 45 minutes I get of sleep is worth it.
That's a lot of extra time. He must live close, folks. Proximity is everything, because I'm the same way. I live 5 minutes away, and literally, I was telling people last week, I wake up at 3:59, 3:58 if I need to shower, and 4:11. It's like you dial it in so you get the most amount of sleep. Truly, and it's stupid, because 1 minute makes no difference, no difference whatsoever. Just set your alarm for 4:10, but no, 4:11 just feels so much better.
You feel like you've stolen time.
Yeah, that's right. You feel like you've gotten away with one. So, I feel that pain every day. I'm kind of settling in. Connor, are you settling in at all?
More or less. We have our bumpy days, but
yeah, bumpy. But here's the difference. Dallas wouldn't even answer the phone. You at least answer it typically. So here's what happens, Antonio. Dallas. Now it's only happened once. I give him a hard time about it because that's just what happens when you. No call, no show, and you hear testing, 1, 2, testing on the radio, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to run the board. But Dallas is, I called probably 16 times. I think I called him. No answer. Connor has overslept twice, but our rule is at 4:45. If you're not here, I'm going to start calling, because Connor can get here in about 5 minutes. So yesterday at 4:46, the first phone call, ring, 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 and he answers the phone. The first time he goes, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I forgot. I'll be right there. And he hung up the phone. Yesterday he just goes, my alarm didn't go off. I'll be there in 5 minutes. And he's still on time, right? And so it's an interesting. I am kind of getting used to it. I'm not so tired all day. I feel like I'm settling in to a routine. But going to bed at 8 o'clock, 8:30 is something I'm not used to.
Yeah, that's the other thing. When I stopped doing this shift is I have a little more freedom of when I can go to sleep.
Yeah.
And it feels good.
No, because look,
I don't want to give that control up.
If you wake up before 4 o'clock in the morning, and for some reason, 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock is early, but 5 o'clock is normal. For some reason, prior to 4 o'clock, it's like there's a rev limiter on your sleep schedule, yep. And literally, if you go past 9:30, it's over with. It's over with. Your whole day changes because you're tired, you're grumpy. I've gotten to the point where there are nights like last night. I think I fell asleep on the couch at 6:45. I just nodded off. My wife woke me up, whatever. But you can go to bed anytime when you wake up at 3:50, 4 o'clock in the morning. But glad you guys are joining us this morning. If you haven't tuned into the live stream yet, go to thehometownheartbeat.com. That's thehometownheartbeat.com. At the top, you'll see Watch Live, Listen Live, or the podcast is there. Be sure to go to your favorite podcast app. Search for The Hometown Heartbeat with Zach Walker. Actually, I guess it's just Hometown Heartbeat with Zach Walker. I get confused because of the website and... Anyways, go to Hometown Heartbeat with Zach Walker. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. Give us a rating. 5 stars is preferable. 1's fine too, but I'd take 5. And we want to hear from you guys this morning. I want to see what the earliest phone call we can take is, Antonio. What's the early? You think is anyone willing to call us at 5:08 and 51 seconds on today's Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Wednesday morning. 1-866-494-WVNN. Who's awake right now? We want to hear from you if you're even awake. I doubt there's anybody even awake, but we're going to try and see who's out there. Connor, we got another live install done yesterday. Finished up. Connor, what? So we had a little problem this time, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
How would you describe our problem? So just let me set the story up. Like Conroe Productions does live streaming installs for churches all over the place, and so we were working on one in Harvest at a Harmony Baptist. I've talked about them before. Great pastor, good church. Now they're out in the boonies a little bit. Internet is a struggle, which is quite pertinent to a live streaming application, and they were very what's the word? I mean, just a simple setup. Simple setup. Nothing much to it. Would you agree with that? I mean, not to take away from it, but it was a single camera setup, not a big deal. And then we got everything in, got it all set up. Coronavirus delayed us by like 3 weeks because there was an exposure here and an exposure there and an exposure everywhere. And so finally get it all set up. They go to do their first live stream. How would you describe our little issue there?
It was like a jitter in the video.
Yeah, like a glitch.
Yeah.
It was like something in the Matrix. Like it literally, like it felt like, for those of you that know anything about cameras and video equipment, it felt like frames were being just eaten. Like you would get, let's just say for those of you that don't know how frames per second works, like 30 frames per second means like there are 30, just consider it 30 still images in each second that are stitched together to make that 1 second of video. Is that a good way to describe it, Connor?
Yeah.
So if you have a 30 frame per second setup, and then you're supposed to be running at, say, like a 24 frame per second setup, and those 6 frames disappear, in theory, you would go, those 6 frames just stop. So you'd get 24 of your 30 shots, and then the last 6 would disappear. And honestly, that's kind of how it felt a little bit when you go back and look at it. So I go over there yesterday. Connor's been over there twice trying to fix it. I went over there yesterday trying to fix it, and I was there for about 5 minutes and fixed it by just changing the frame per second button. So I called Connor on the way home. Connor, I fixed it the same way you said you tried to fix it. So
you changed it to 24.
Yeah, but here's the reality is I didn't have to because I recorded it in 30 and it worked fine.
Yeah, I think so. Zach touches stuff and it starts working again, and it drives me absolutely bonkers because I will sit and work on stuff
hours,
just trying to figure out nothing is working. I'm at my wit's end. I'm frustrated. I have no idea what's going on. And Zach walks in and he'll do like it seems like the exact same thing. He'll look at it and it'll work, and it's oh man, I'm glad it works. I'd take that over it not working, but man.
It's frustrating when you're the smartest guy in the room and the dumbest guy in the room can just look at stuff.
Absolutely.
And it just easy. No, but in all seriousness, I'm glad we were able to get that fixed. Now, hopefully it stays fixed. They're going to test it out tonight, so I'm sure we'll get to it tonight. They did have some sound question, Connor, that I didn't. Wow, we're getting the wrong sound. I'm like, guys, it's coming through the soundboard. And they're like, well, we don't really have a sound guy. I'm like, well, maybe there's a problem. But we're going to go make sure we get them all fixed up on that. So anyways, if you guys have any live streaming needs, you might get your bearded host himself to show up. And not like that's a big deal. I'll be happy to come anywhere. It doesn't really matter. It's like I'm saying, Will Ferrell will show up. I'm just some schmo on the radio at 5:12 in the morning when no one's even awake. But if you guys want some live streaming help or you want to set up, let us, producer Connor can come and hook you up with whatever it is that you need. We can get you the equipment. We can show you how to run it. We can do all that. Connor is sitting here running this stream. He also runs Dale Jackson's stream, which is going to be changing as we are all kind of holding our bated breath to see what happens as things change. Well, I'm sure we'll talk more about that in the next day or so. But for now, we're live streaming away. You guys need to check it out. It's on. Are we native just to Facebook this time? Or are we still through Restream?
We're still through Restream.
You know what we might do, Connor? We might cut the show in half today and do 2 segments. Do a 1 hour on Restream and 1 hour native to Facebook, and just test the theory test the theory out. Because what I'm thinking, for those of you that are listening and are like, what are they talking about? Why are they talking about this on the radio? It's kind of a pertinent part of what we do. And so I've been reading a lot about Restream as a platform that you stream to, and then it rebroadcasts your stream to multiple locations. But as usual, Facebook is very picky about video that it likes. So, like, for instance, if you have a YouTube video that you record, then you want to share it on Facebook, you're better off to take that Facebook or that video and upload it directly to Facebook. Facebook likes organic video more than it does a link to an outside site, which makes sense, right? I mean, if they want to drive monetization of their platform, as if he needs any more money, it does make sense to keep videos native to the platform as opposed to sending people outside of your platform. And so in the same way, while this doesn't really make sense a whole lot, I guess it does in that if you – well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense at all because when you're watching the Facebook stream, it's not like you can get to YouTube, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what their deal would be. Maybe they want people to use their streaming systems. I don't know.
But they apparently throttle video hard, and so we will likely try this where we go Facebook only. Ultimately, I'd like to get to YouTube only. It's a better streaming platform in my opinion, but the engagement we've got currently on Facebook, I guess more people are on Facebook at 5 a.m. than they are just perusing YouTube. So we are working through some of those challenges. But this is your Wednesday morning edition. We got the mayor of Athens joining us in the 6 o'clock hour. We're going to talk through the upcoming election, some of the issues, give him an opportunity to speak his mind and talk through that. You're listening to Hometown Heartbeat on WVNN. I am your big, beautiful bearded host. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Hometown Heartbeat.
Though the world is full of wonders to amaze you as you roam, some of life's greatest treasures are found very close to home.
Find your own treasures at Highway 31 Flea Market. We have it all. Lots of furniture, both painted and project pieces, along with chairs, tables, televisions, books, and so much more. Our prices are unbeatable with products you'll love. Maybe you're looking for a bed frame or maybe some tools. You'll find a great selection right here at Highway 31 Flea Market. We also have all kinds of collectibles and antiques. Want even more deals? You can jump on board with our week-long online auctions, beginning every Tuesday at 7 p.m. It's simple. You can join the auction at fleamarket.highbid.com. That's fleamarket.hibid.com. And be sure to visit us Monday through Saturday from 9 till 5 at Highway 31 Flea Market on Highway 31 South in Athens. What will you find when you shop Highway 31 Flea Market?
What's going on, everybody? Zach Walker here, the big, beautiful, bearded host of WVNN's smartest show on the radio, Hometown Heartbeat. Listen, if you're building or buying or remodeling a house, the first thing you need to think about is your cabinets. You'll spend the most money there and oftentimes get the least return on your investment. Our friends at Cabinet Express Online are the only game in town that we trust here at Hometown Heartbeat. Give them a call today at 256-970-5857. Let them come out to your house, do a free consultation, 3D rendering of the home. It's absolutely beautiful. It's awesome. Their prices won't be beat, and I promise you'll be satisfied just like I was with my cabinets from Cabinet Express Online. Again, call our friends at Cabinet Express Online at 256-970-5857 or visit them on the web at cabinetsexpressonline.com.
Karen's a quilter.
Karen's Quality Quilts. Quality custom quilts quickly.
How's the quilting business, Karen?
Kinda quiet. My quest to quadruple my quilting sales has created a quagmire.
Can I be candid, Karen?
Okay.
You need a website that can encompass the quality of your quilts.
I know quilts, but I know no computers. They're confusing.
But there are people who know coding like you know quilting.
Who's that?
I'm glad you asked. Web Underdog creates websites that don't just catch the eye, they catch customers. And they're as user-friendly for you as they are for your clients. We build high-quality, clean, well-coded, custom designs for organizations of all sizes that are affordable, professional, and specially made for your brand and visitors. Outside of responsive web design, Web Underdog also offers search engine optimization, website management, and so much more. Give your business the professional touch and contact Web Underdog for a free web design quote. Call 256-998-0667. That's 9980667 and online at webunderdog.com. Web Underdog, your local web design and SEO agency.
Hey everybody, this is Lindsay Gandy from Cotton Row Interiors. The real estate market in North Alabama is booming and showing no signs of slowing down. If you're thinking about selling your house, now is absolutely the time to do it. But before you do that, you need to call Cotton Row Interiors at 256-BUY-SELL. Cotton Row Interiors is the premier interior design and home staging service in the Southeast. Leah Carter, our lead designer, has years of experience and a wealth of knowledge when it comes to design and staging your home. Staging your home is the key to selling your house quickly and for a premium price. Statistics show that houses that have been staged can sell up to 30 times faster than those that are unstaged, and the sale price can balloon by as much as 20%. It's honestly a no-brainer. Call Leah today at 256-BUY-SELL to schedule your free in-home design consultation today. Get that HGTV home that you've always dreamed of, regardless of your budget. Again, call Cotton Row Interiors today at 256-BUY-SELL. So 256-BUYSELL.
What's going on, everybody? Zach Walker, your big, beautiful, boisterous, bearded host from Hometown Heartbeat, 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. on WVNN. Let me tell you something. We are so excited to be joining you guys on the radio, on the live stream, on the podcast, on the website, on the interweb, on the Facebooks, on the Tweetergram. We are fired up. And you should be too, because it's one of the only places you can get real truth in the media. So make sure that you go to thehometownheartbeat.com, thehometownheartbeat.com, and at the top, click Listen Live, Watch Live, or Podcast. Every day the archive comes out, no commercials. You can get smarter and not have to listen to ads. Make sure you join us every day, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. on WVNN. That's thehometownheartbeat.com. Stay classy, San Diego.
WVNN. You know you made me rock it.
Welcome back to Hometown Heartbeat. I am your big, beautiful, bearded host, Zach Walker, checking in. Producer Connor DJ Dallas is still out of town. Antonio filling in on the board on the ones and twos, spinning those hits from the top 40. I don't know. That was going to make a joke that didn't work out.
Never done that.
Dad humor, dad jokes. And you don't have a kid yet, do you?
I don't, not yet. I've never spun the ones and twos.
I don't even know what that means. But I think it's in reference to the turntables of DJs. If you've ever spun the ones and twos, let's be honest. If you spin the ones and twos, you're probably not up at 5:21 in the morning. So
probably going to bed.
Yeah, you're just now getting home and unpacking your stuff. And but if you have spun the ones and twos and you know what that even means, give us a call 1-866-494-WVNN. I still want to know who's awake right now. I want to take the earliest call we've ever taken. Actually, it's probably going to be hard to beat because I had a woman call in prior to our show. Now, she thought she was calling Red Eye Radio. Unfortunately, they're syndicated. And so there's no way let me patch you through. We have no ability to do that. But we were talking about that. We were talking about how bad, as Antonio sits here yawning, just we all feel the pain. But the only thing could be worse than that would probably be overnight shift. I can't, how long do you know how long they're on?
Red Eye?
Yeah. Because it's midnight to 5 is what we get.
Right.
So, I mean, that's a lot of, first of all, that's a lot of time to fill. It's got to be a big show. It's got to have, because there's got to be
I know that we stop it at 5. I don't know what time it actually ends.
That would be the only shift worse than this shift. It would be that shift because it literally would change everything. I mean, I guess it'd be like going into third shift or whatever. Which there's a lot of. I mean, we've got a lot of plants and factory type work around here, and so there's a lot of guys on third shift that we know that it's no fun for sure, but they do fine with it. I guess you get adjusted, but it would just change everything. Man, we got a lot to talk about today. The VP pick is in for the Democratic Party. And the final nail goes in the coffin for that. I have surprisingly more left-leaning friends on Facebook than I would expect. It surprises me every time I get on there, honestly, because I'll be scrolling through there and I'm like, do what? And I saw more of those people yesterday disgusted with the pick than I expected. I expected a lot of people to be very proud and happy, and we've got a minority female running for and there was a lot of what's the word? There was not very much excitement in the base, it seemed. And so I am and honestly, the guys on Red Eye, because we sit here for the 30-40 minutes we're here before the show and Red Eye's playing, he was talking about how she is a very she's not a very likable person. She's a very emotional person. It's like she's always on edge. It's like every time you hear her talk, she sounds like she's about to scream or cry. And I think there's a lot to that, because in the debate, it's going to be her and Pence, and she's going to try to wreck his world. And he's just going to, he's like Barry Bonds talking about steroids. He just hits another one. No comment. Because he's unflappable, which I love that term, by the way, but he anyways, that'll be interesting to see how that works out. Before we go into our shoot ready aim segment, which we'll do here in a little bit, Connor, I do want to talk about the Bank of Korea. They've been caught washing their money. They're laundering money, and not in the sense that you think. Oh man, this is an AP story. Money laundering is not a good idea, as a South Korean found out when he or she put banknotes in a washing machine to remove the coronavirus. Officials say the loss was considerable. The person living in Ansan City near Seoul placed an unspecified amount of 50,000 won bills in a washing machine. Some of the money was seriously damaged, and they wanted to know if they could exchange it for new bills. They were given back 19,000 of their 50,000 bills. So that's a big hit there. Who? Antonio, have you ever gotten like a dirty or like a stained or just one of those like nasty, maybe you're at like a concert and it's got like, it was shoved in a place it shouldn't be shoved by some lady that was about to try to buy her beer, whatever, and then you get it in change, just back before coronavirus and all the fear, and people still use cash. But like you get that nasty sweaty, I've honestly never said, you know what? This thing's gross. We need to wash it. Like it's never crossed my mind. Any thought that it might burn? Yeah, of course it's going to damage you. Are you kidding me? Like, well, I see it. They do it on TV when they do counterfeit money. They put it in a dryer with poker chips and they wash it. I mean, I'm not saying I watch a ton of TV. Obviously, right. I read about it once online. But I don't see where this. I mean, they lost a lot of money. They lost like 30,000 won. Whatever that means.
Can't you just like put it in your pockets and dry it or something? That usually works.
But they were worried about the coronavirus.
Oh my gosh.
They were scared. We're going to get the Rona from these won.
Look, I used to, like you mentioned, with nasty, sweaty bills and stuff. I managed a gas station for a few years while going to college. And I've seen just about every gross bill under the sun. If you don't catch it if you haven't died from those, you'll be all right.
The Rona's not going to get you. If you've been in a gas station, did you ever get robbed or anything?
No.
Was that ever a fear?
For my wife, yes. She was terrified.
Yeah, because gas stations get held up a lot, don't they?
I was right by campus, and we were open till 1 or 2 a.m. depending on the day of the week. So I was always there late. It was never a fear of mine. It was always a fear of hers, though.
Were you packing heat, bro?
Of course.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then there's nothing to be scared of when old Smith & Wesson's by your side. I just don't. You're right, though. I mean, there's some nasty bills out there. There's some cash in general is just a pretty gross concept. The amount of germs that transfer back and forth. Connor, you're a science guy. I mean, what the amount of people that touch a bill, what are the odds it's got some terrible, crazy thing on it?
Not much.
What?
Well, it does have something terrible and crazy on it, Connor. It's called boob sweat.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to refer to without saying it.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a virus or something.
Yeah, no, like nasty stuff. Like, I mean, it's got germs. I mean, you think how many people touch a bill in its life cycle, I wonder?
Oh, no, yeah, unless you get a bill fresh from the bank, it's nasty.
But they make those like UV ray things to put your phone in and clean them. My partner has one. It's actually pretty cool. You stick your phone in there, and it just this light turns on. It kills all the germs. Like, they need to make something like that for your cash. But then again, it would require people to actually have cash, and we're trying to go cashless. Hashtag signs of the apocalypse. Connor, what do you think about Kamala Harris as VP?
I don't think anybody's really surprised by it. It was kind of it was the pick that everybody saw coming. And I don't think VPs make a huge difference one way or the other.
They do this time.
Do you think so?
47. Dale Jackson put this out. Like 47% of Democratic voters believe that the VP will actually take over the presidency in less than 12 months. Because of Joe's
12 months, really?
Yeah, because of Joe Biden's old age, and I mean he's going downhill fast. You're listening to Hometown Heartbeat. When we come back, we will shoot ready with producer Connor and myself. You're listening to Hometown Heartbeat. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Hometown Heartbeat. This is News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. News starts now.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
Of funds for our military.
The president also says, in his words, I like Vice President Mike Pence much better. Linda Kenyon, Washington.
People arrested since late May on nonviolent misdemeanor charges during protests in Portland won't be prosecuted. County District Attorney Mike Schmitz says a new policy recognizes outrage and frustration over a history of racial injustice that has led to the protests. I'm John Trout.
Oftentimes, people save their fine dining experience for a special occasion. That's wonderful, but isn't all of life a celebration?
I survived Tuesday.
We finished the homework and nobody cried.
I was awake for the entire conference call.
Life is short. To celebrate.
Join us at the Rail Yard for an extraordinary meal. Just because we'll be reopening on August 13th. Reclaim for downtown Decatur's hottest spot for delicious farm to fork Southern comfort food, craft beer, craft cocktails, and always great times. That recipe, combined with the amazing atmosphere of the local history of downtown Decatur, makes the Rail Yard the perfect place for an afternoon lunch or a relaxing evening out. The Rail Yard on 2nd Avenue in beautiful downtown Decatur. Make your reservations online at therailyarddecatur.com or call 256-580-5707. That's 580-5707. Craft beer, farm to fork, Southern comfort food, and always a good time.
This is Mike 4 years ago. This is Mike having the same conversation with Debbie just last month. And today, he's at it again.
What's that, Mike?
I said our house is still underwater.
How do you know? Have you had it appraised lately?
Well, no.
Has the coronavirus made your life less financially stable? Are you worried about your next mortgage payment? Reed's Family REI is a family-based real estate investing company ready to buy your house for cash in any area or condition and close in 2 weeks. You don't have to fix it up. There's no agent fees, and we handle the closing costs. Selling a home can be very stressful, and Wyatt Reed and his team at Reed's Family REI will put together the best possible offer for your specific needs. Sell your home fast with Reed's Family REI. 931-292-2875. That's 931-292-2875. And online at reedsfamilyrei.org. Reed's Family REI. Creative real estate experts for all your buying or selling needs.
Hey everybody, this is producer Connor from the smartest show on the radio, Hometown Heartbeat, as well as the Dale Jackson Show live stream. And if you haven't yet, you need to reach out to our friends at Cotton Row Productions. If you're a local business owner, chances are that you know how important content creation and digital marketing are in these unprecedented times. Our friends at Cotton Row Productions are the only people trusted by both the Dale Jackson Show and Hometown Heartbeat when it comes to video, podcasting, and live streaming. They also have video packages and content creation services for every budget. Video doesn't have to be expensive, but with Cotton Row Productions, it will be effective. For a flat monthly fee, get high-quality digital media content that will catapult your business from out of touch to in demand. Don't neglect your digital footprint and call Cotton Row Productions at 256-289-7355 and tell them producer Connor sent you. Again, that's Cotton Row Productions at 256-289-7355. Get started on your path to social media dominance with our friends at Cotton Row Productions today.
News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN.
Welcome back to Hometown Heartbeat. I am your big, beautiful, bearded host, Zach Walker. Checking in with producer Connor. Antonio's filling in for DJ Dallas as he continues his lake vacation. I hope he's enjoying himself. I would say something to him, but let's all be honest. There's a 0% chance he's up and listening to this show, and I wouldn't be either. So no fault there. So we are going to do one of your favorite segments. We're going to go with some shoot, ready, aim. Connor will shoot. I will start talking, and then he'll try to aim it as we go. It's a little bit reckless. It's a whole lot of fun. It is the best segment on this show outside of Word of the Day. But since we're missing that, let's fill that void with some of this. So, Connor, take it away.
All right, this is a story that you actually brought to my attention. We've got Jamie Lee Curtis posting on Twitter and raising the alarm over mail truck theft being a means of Trump rigging the election.
Did you say mail truck theft?
Yeah, she saw a mail truck getting towed down the road on a red tow truck with white lettering, and she said this can't be a coincidence.
So for those of you that haven't seen this, Jamie Lee Curtis is sitting at a stop. Jamie Lee Curtis is an actress, a celebrity, for those of you that don't know. She's also an idiot. But she is driving down the road. She sees a red rollback tow truck. That's the one with the bed, like they tilt the bed up, the bed rolls back to the ground, and then it winches the vehicle on. And she says, I swear, in broad daylight, the driver of the red truck had a red cap with white letters on. Conspiracy? ? Outright attempt at stealing the election by denying the access of the USPS. Let's not let it happen, Joe Biden. Are you... Okay, so let's break this down for a second. Let's break this down. First of all, people started asking her, like, are you kidding? Like, is this a joke, or are you just, like, mentally unstable or unwell? Because what's... I guess because the truck is red and he had a red hat on, I wonder if the hat said Make America Great Again, and he's another American patriot wandering the streets of wherever it is that she lives. But let me understand exactly, Connor, you're the mail-in voting proponent here, so let's talk about, and that, I'm kidding, I know you're not a proponent, you just are not a naysayer, but so in theory, voting by mail has not been approved on a mass scale for this election yet, am I correct? Absentee voting, stuff like that already existed, sure. But I'm talking about widespread mail-in voting for the presidential election.
I think every state, or almost all of them, have at least expanded absentee voting in preparation for...
Okay, so I guess then her what she's saying here is President Trump owns a fleet of rollback tow trucks whose job it now is to go and steal USPS trucks that are containing ballots only for Joe Biden. They are to then steal those trucks and abscond with them. Is that pretty...
That's the scheme that she seems to be...
This woman's an idiot. This is... she got roasted for this, and she should have, because this is crazy. What's next?
Let's see. Key West police arrested an 8-year-old boy at school for hitting a teacher. I just pulled this story up. I don't know what the whole story is.
Well, that's why it's called Shoot, Ready, Aim. Key West police arrest an 8-year-old student There's a video of him being handcuffed, which is terrifying. First of all, the cop's not wearing a mask. Way to go, jerk. You killed everybody with coronavirus. Police officers at a Florida elementary school arrested an 8-year-old boy who had allegedly hit a teacher, only to realize the boy's wrists were too small for the handcuffs. Oh, this was in 2018, but the footage was just released on Monday by an attorney. Tuesday, she filed a federal lawsuit claiming the officers used excessive force. I just need to understand something on this. I mean, we can make this very simple. Wow. Her son was arrested, taken to jail, fingerprinted, DNA swabbed, and mugshotted. Holy crap. He was 3.5 feet tall, weighed 64 pounds, charged with felony battery. Thank God the charges were dismissed. But someone help me understand. Is there anything in the world that a 64-pound, 8-year-old boy could do that warrants felony assault? Anything. I mean, what's the worst thing they're going to do? Like my son hit me last night. He said, "Hey, Daddy, I got to tell you something." I said, "Okay." He goes, "Whap!" and hits me right in the stomach. So I just reached back and I popped him in the stomach. He goes, "That hurt." Like, yeah, but it wasn't a felony. Like, what? I don't, how? I don't, is this an officer that's just over the top? Or I'm trying to, oh gosh, the kid with special needs too. This just keeps getting worse. Oh, okay. When we say special needs, we say ADHD. I am ADD. I'm not ADHD, but I don't know that I would consider myself special needs. Some of you might say that, but I don't feel like that would. I mean, that it's a different type of special need. Let's be sensitive, but also be honest. Connor, what would have to happen to you at the hands of an 8-year-old for you to call the cops?
An 8-year-old?
Yep. 64-pound, 3-foot tall, 8-year-old. What would he have to do to you for you to call the cops and say, "I need help"?
I think nothing short of like arson.
Or brandishing a firearm. Like one of those two things. And even at that point, I'm probably just going to take it out of his hands. But this is obnoxious. Like this is why I like you to do this, because when my hands just tend to find, when I'm using the laptop over here, I tend to just find political news. And you have a tendency of being able to find things that are less political. But usually that means more fun. This is obnoxious. We got time for one more of this segment. Hit me with one more.
Well, if you're looking for non-political news, we've got bad news. I'm looking at 538, the polling aggregate website. They released their 2020 election forecast today. So what they do is they run a simulation of all the election, the ways it could turn out, and they released it today. They have this whole complex methodology that I've just been looking through here.
What does it say?
Right now, they have Biden at a 71% chance of victory, and Trump at a 29% chance, which is roughly where it was on Election Day in 2016. In this system was way more conservative in 2016 than a lot of the other ones. Who put Hillary at like 99% chance of victory. So they've gone out of their way to say, it's way too soon to count Trump out. So I've been reading, fascinated by this methodology.
Yeah, so there's a college professor that, and I'm trying to find it right now, that predicts presidential elections out of, I want to say, his name's Alan Lichtman. Oh snap! He changed his. Oh man. He's accurately predicted every election since 1984 with his system. He's got a 13-key system. He says it's now ready to call it, even though earlier this year he said Trump would win. He's now saying Trump would lose. And his whole thing goes into, this also doesn't include none of these polls really include giving time for the vice presidential nominees to take. I really do believe that by choosing Kamala Harris, I think he pacified a very small group of people, but anybody who is serious about like making their vote count with somebody who they think can lead this country is obviously aware of who Kamala Harris is and what she has done politically. She's married to a white dude and is very much part of the white establishment that these people hate so much. But there's just not a lot of enthusiasm there, and enthusiasm is what drives votes and what wins elections. It's honestly, it's probably more about enthusiasm than anything else, because what the voters who are going to vote. They're going to vote no matter what. They're going to get up. They consider it their civic duty. They go, they vote, they get semi-educated, and they go and they vote. The rest of the world is driven by emotion, and so they have to have a reason, something that excites them so much that they get up and go and vote. And what I think's happening, and I've been wrong once or twice, but what I think's happening right now, momentum is swinging back towards Donald Trump. The people are tired of the rallies. They're tired of the violence and the protests and the looting and all of that. Kamala Harris is an instigator of those things, and in a lot of ways, verbally, anyways. I mean, the way she speaks incites a lot of activist type behavior. I just don't see the enthusiasm there for Sleepy Joe and Kamala Harris. Now, that being said, I mean, who knows? But if at this point the polls have it just like it was in 2016, I feel confident in saying that Donald Trump is going to win the election, because they got to this point right the night before the election. We're still 70, 80 days out, whatever it is, and it's already at this point, like, the momentum is trending towards Trump right now, whether you like it or not. And so I'm interested to see how it all goes down. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, obviously. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we don't have to deal with 4 years of Sleepy Joe. But at the end of the day, all authority is from God, put in place by God for a reason, and we will learn something. We will be tried, tested, and refined, or we will be blessed through that, and I believe that to be true. You're listening to WVNN. I am your big, beautiful, bearded host. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Hometown Heartbeat.
You go as hard as you can. And then a little harder.
Come on. And then it was like I stepped funny, you know? Mm-hmm. And I could barely walk on.
Okay, let's take a look.
At Lane Chiropractic, we'll help your sports performance and your overall health by improving your range of motion, flexibility, relieving inflammation, and so much more. Focusing to improve your health and wellness in all areas of your life. Whether you're having trouble with back pain, neck pain, or just want to start feeling better when you wake up in the morning, Dr. David Lang is focused on a whole person approach, finding those underlying causes and creating a personalized plan for your individual needs. Schedule your visit by calling 256-444-1600. That's 444-1600. At Lane Chiropractic on Highway 72 East in Athens in the Publix Shopping Center. Visit us online at lanechiropracticcenter.com. Lane Chiropractic, we've got your back. Come see us today.
What's going on, everybody? Zach Walker here, the big, beautiful, bearded host of WVNN's smartest show on the radio, Hometown Heartbeat. Listen, if you're building or buying or remodeling a house, the first thing you need to think about is your cabinets. You'll spend the most money there and oftentimes get the least return on your investment. Our friends at Cabinet Express Online are the only game in town that we trust here at Hometown Heartbeat. Give them a call today at 256-970-5857. Let them come out to your house, do a free consultation, 3D rendering of the home. It's absolutely beautiful. It's awesome. Their prices won't be beat, and I promise you'll be satisfied just like I was with my cabinets from Cabinet Express Online. Again, call our friends at Cabinet Express Online at 256-970-5857 or visit them on the web at cabinetsexpressonline.com.
Though the world is full of wonders to amaze you as you roam, some of life's greatest treasures are found very close to home.
Find your own treasures at Highway 31 Flea Market. We have it all. Lots of furniture, both painted and project pieces, along with chairs, tables, televisions, books, and so much more. Our prices are unbeatable with products you'll love. Maybe you're looking for a bed frame, or maybe some tools. You'll find a great selection right here at Highway 31 Flea Market. We also have all kinds of collectibles and antiques. Want even more deals? You can jump on board with our week-long online auctions, beginning every Tuesday at 7 p.m. It's simple. You can join the auction at fleamarket.highbid.com. That's fleamarket.hibid.com. And be sure to visit us Monday through Saturday from 9 till 5 at Highway 31 Flea Market on Highway 31 South in Athens. What will you find when you shop Highway 31 Flea Market?
Karen's a quilter.
Karen's Quality Quilts. Quality custom quilts quickly.
How's the quilting business, Karen?
Kinda quiet. My quest to quadruple my quilting sales has created a quagmire.
Can I be candid, Karen?
Okay.
You need a website that can encompass the quality of your quilts.
I know quilts, but I know no computers. They're confusing.
But there are people who know coding like you know quilting.
Who's that?
I'm glad you asked. WebUnderdog creates websites that don't just catch the eye, they catch customers. And they're as user-friendly for you as they are for your clients. We build high-quality, clean, well-coded, custom designs for organizations of all sizes that are affordable, professional, and specially made for your brand and visitors. Outside of responsive web design, WebUnderdog also offers search engine optimization, website management, and so much more. Give your business the professional touch and contact WebUnderdog for a free web design quote. Call 256-998-0667. That's 998-0667 and online at webunderdog.com. WebUnderdog, your local web design and SEO agency.
What's going on, everybody? Zach Walker, your big, beautiful, bearded host here on Hometown Heartbeat. I wanted to talk about my friends over at Cotton Row Productions. If you're a church, creative, or pastor, and throughout this coronavirus, you have decided it's time to invest in your live stream capabilities, look at what we're doing here. The Dale Jackson Show and Hometown Heartbeat are proudly produced by Cotton Row Productions, and they are the best in live media production and creative for your church. They work with any budget, any amount of equipment. Look, it's a frustrating process, I know, and they are the best in the business at getting you and your message live streamed. And when we're talking about the gospel, what more important message? So reach out to my friends at Cotton Row Productions at 256-289-7355. Again, that's 256-289-7355. And when you call, make sure you ask for producer Connor from Hometown Heartbeat and the Dale Jackson Show. They'll take great care of you.
News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN.
Welcome back to Hometown Heartbeat. I am Zach Walker, your big, beautiful, bearded host, checking in with producer Connor. Antonio filling in for DJ Dallas as he's on vacation. We were just talking about the Kamala Harris. Anyways, we were just talking about the old running mate. Would you like that?
It's a deep cut, man.
Yeah.
Boy, what is that? Boy George?
I don't know.
It's a deep one. It's a deep cut.
It's a good one.
It's deep.
The remix is better. My remix is better. But no, we were just talking about Kamala Harris and her running with the ex-vice, but whatever, Biden, Sleepy Joe. I came across this video of Tulsi Gabbard absolutely destroying her in the last debate. Maybe we'll play that clip in the next segment. But yeah, again, I don't see it being an issue. I honestly, I think Trump's got this one in the bag. I could be wrong again, but I don't think so. Anyways, I was just combing through. So the way our live stream works, a lot of people watch it after the fact, and then I have to go back and comb through some of the comments from time to time and just see what is actually going on. And I just noticed a comment from somebody where they were watching our live stream, I guess, after the fact, and we did our Chicago update, and this gentleman decided that it would be a good time to pick a fight because I guess no one was there to fight. Either that or he wasn't smart enough to realize he was watching an old live stream. But his comment, as we were talking about Chicago, was, black on black crime has always been a problem in the inner city. Why are you talking about this in Huntsville, Alabama? First of all, sir, I'm not in Huntsville. I'm in Athens. Second of all, sir, and then he goes on to say, are you using these statistics to justify white cops killing black men? I'm just going to let that marinate. So now I can't have a conversation about what's going about news of the day. By the way, if you haven't ever listened to the show before, news of the day is kind of what we do. We're not politics, we're not sports, we're not a religious show. We're a little bit of all those things. We're news of the day. We're stream of consciousness. We have a good time. But now I can't even comment on what's going on in Chicago without being accused of that's how I'm justifying black murder by white cops. People, I just want to clarify something. I want to educate some of you that are out there. A conversation can be had about the state of things without it applying to everything. For instance, if I say Chicago is a very violent city, there's a lot of black-on-black crime up there in a gun-free zone. There are lots of things we could talk about in that conversation. We could talk about gun rights. We could talk about the Second Amendment. We could talk about over-governing of the people and taking their rights away. We could talk about why in the world are there actually guns in a gun-free zone. We could talk about all kinds of stuff. We could also talk about the fact that black lives can't really matter until black-on-black lives matter. If black lives got to matter all the way around, they got to matter all the way around. But I just wanted to illustrate the attempt let me tell you exactly what this is. This is an attempt to distract from what's actually going on because you have the ability to do so. Like, you cannot reason with the fact that maybe, holy crap, this guy's going to make a decent point that we really ought to think about without spinning that and saying, well, you must be a racist. Like, that's the go-to. Oh, you must be a racist. He's talking about Chicago. In Chicago, we've always killed people. Don't worry about it. Like, what? It's a black man, too. It just goes to the insincerity, the dishonesty that goes into Black Lives Matter. Eric is trying to call, but unfortunately, Eric's calling my cell phone again. So this is something Eric and I have. Eric always tries to call the studio, but calls my cell phone and then calls the studio the second time around. So this is me letting him know that he called the wrong number. Eric, go ahead and give us a call, 1-866-494-WVNN. There he is, coming in. So we'll get him in a minute. But it's just dishonest and unfair to say, oh, this guy's white, so he must just be talking about how black people being killed by white cops. That's what he's talking about for sure. We got Eric coming in here online too. Let's go ahead and get him in. Eric, come on in here and speak some truth to these people.
Hey, what's up, Zach? What's going on, man?
Just missing you, man.
Hey, man, likewise. Hey, you know what? What about black whiteian lives? Don't they matter?
No. Not even a little bit.
I'm hurt, man. I'm hurt.
I mean, if I'm being honest with you,
I'm going to take to the streets and protest.
You should. In fact, try to burn down a city. That's the typical reaction. That's the go-to. Burn it to the ground, and we'll go from there. No, seriously, this guy wants to get on. I mean, Eric, you know me. He wants to get on my stream talking about how, this guy must just be talking about Chicago because he wants to justify black folks getting killed in Chicago. Like, what?
Well, now, you know what I told you, Zach, when we were visiting last time. My brain tends to shut off when ignorance starts talking, and I have to regroup because it just automatically cuts off. But I put that in the category with the laundromat guy. And that category is a phrase I use. That's a special kind of stupid.
It is. No, it is. And, and I'm glad you said that because I mean, honestly, that's exactly what it is. It ain't nothing but stupid. And at the end of the day, it's dishonest and insincere because you can't tell me Black Lives Matter if black on black crime doesn't create an issue for the Black Lives Matter movement, then black lives don't actually matter.
Exactly. I mean, and that is and that's the truth. That's common sense. How you going to expect someone to be, to care? I mean, just thinking about it like this, you want somebody to care about something. You got to show them that you care about it, and you want people to care about quote unquote black lives, but you ignore all of the black on black crime that goes on in this country, in the inner cities. You ignore that, and the only reason your black on black crime not black on black crime, but black on black matters is because of a political agenda, and that's what I call evil.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. There's no doubt about that. That's what it is. So, Eric, I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for calling in. We need to get you back in here ASAP, brother, because, in fact, you and I were supposed to meet, and I forgot to call you. So I'll call you this afternoon. But, it doesn't feel very honest. It doesn't feel very good. It feels very one-sided, very dishonest. And quite frankly, it really kind of gets to me a little bit, if I'm going to be honest with you. Because I do a lot. I do a lot to try to paint myself with an honest. First of all, honestly, but second of all, it's people that know me know I'm not a racist. People that know me know I'm genuine. I'm gonna tell you how I feel. You're gonna know where I'm at. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it just is what it is. I guess you just gotta turn a little water off a duck's back. You're listening to Hometown Heartbeat here on WVNN. I am your big, beautiful, bearded host. We'll be right back.
Huntsville's #1 news, talk, and weather station. WVNN Athens. WVNN FM Trinity. A Cumulus station. It's 6 o'clock.
Biden's choice, Midwest cleanup. I'm John Trout. President Trump denigrates Joe Biden's choice of Senator Kamala Harris as his vice presidential running mate.
Nothing good to say.
I was a little surprised that he picked her.
Because, says the president, Kamala Harris's own bid for the Democratic presidential nomination was a failure.
She did very, very poorly in the primaries, as you know. She was expected to do well.
And, says Trump, he doesn't care much for Senator Harris's politics either.
She's a big tax raiser. She's a big slasher of funds for our military.
The president also says, in his words, I like Vice President Mike Pence much better. Linda Kenyon, Washington.
The 55-year-old Harris was elected to the Senate in 2016 after serving as California's Attorney General. She competed against Biden for the Democratic presidential nomination, but left the race as she struggled to keep her fundraising hopes alive. Many residents across the Midwest remain without electricity after a powerful storm packing 100-mile-an-hour winds battered the region. Correspondent Bill Michaels says damage from the storm is still being assessed.
Monday's storm caused widespread property and crop damage and the deaths of at least 2 people in Indiana and Iowa. The storm, known as a derecho, tore from eastern Nebraska across Iowa and parts of Wisconsin and Illinois. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds says early estimates indicate 10 million acres have been damaged in the nation's top corn-producing state.
I had a farmer reach out to me to say that this was the worst wind damage to crops and farm buildings that he has ever seen across the state in such a wide area.
I'm Bill Michaels.
Yesterday on Wall Street, a late slide in big technology companies left indexes broadly lower, breaking a 7-day winning streak for the S&P with an 0.8% loss. The Dow dropped 0.4%. The NASDAQ composite lost 1.7%. I'm John Trout.
This is good news, maybe exactly when you need it to. Right now, MediShare is waiving their new member fees. This could save you money on top of all that you'll save each month by becoming a member of MediShare. So many people are looking for a healthcare solution right now, seeing the cost of COBRA plans, for instance. And MediShare is the affordable alternative to health insurance. The typical family saves $500 a month, but you might save even more. MediShare is a Christian community that shares each other's healthcare costs, and because of the current economic situation, they're making it easier than ever. Apply by August 31st, and you can save an additional $170 on your first month. I'll give you the number here in a second, and if you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Just tell them the promo code SHARE to receive your additional savings. Maybe now is the time to make the switch, like more than 400,000 people already have, and start saving. Here it is. Call 844-91-BIBLE. That's 844-91-BIBLE. 844-91-BIBLE.
This is Mike 4 years ago. This is Mike having the same conversation with Debbie just last month. And today, he's at it again.
What's that, Mike?
I said our house is still underwater.
How do you know? Have you had it appraised lately?
Well, no.
Has the coronavirus made your life less financially stable? Are you worried about your next mortgage payment? Reed's Family REI is a family-based real estate investing company ready to buy your house for cash in any area or condition and close in 2 weeks. You don't have to fix it up. There's no agent fees, and we handle the closing costs. Selling a home can be very stressful, and Wyatt Reed and his team at Reed's Family REI will put together the best possible offer for your specific needs. Sell your home fast with Reed's Family REI. 931-292-2875. That's 931-292-2875. And online at reedsfamilyrei.org. Reed's Family REI. Creative real estate experts for all your buying or selling needs.
News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. You're listening to Hometown Heartbeat, the pulse of Americana, with your beautiful bearded host, Zach Walker. Alabama's best no-holds-barred, constitutionally conservative, Christ-centered talk radio. If that don't fire you up, your wood's wet. Now, it's time for your bearded host, Zach Walker.
Welcome back to Hometown Heartbeat. I am your big, beautiful bearded host, Zach Walker, checking in with producer Connor and Antonio, filling in for DJ Dallas. We were just having a good conversation here about racism, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, let's move on because that'll just get me down in the old dumps. I don't like being called names. It rarely happens to me, as you can probably imagine. So that's a lie. That's a lie, obviously. Let's go to 29 Palms, California. Oh, man. Antonio, we've already addressed the fact that you're not a father yet, but I'm assuming at some point that's in the works, and so at some point you will get to experience the very special privilege of disciplining your child. And you got a dog. You have a dog? Mm-hmm. Okay. So you discipline your dog when he pees in the house or does something like that. There's some consequences for that, right? Has your dog ever burned your house down because you disciplined him? Just curious. You know why? One, he doesn't have opposable thumbs, and a lighter would be awfully hard to operate. But two, because that's a ridiculous thing to do. In 29 Palms, a 17-year-old who was not identified due to being a minor burned down his mom's house because she took away his computer. Connor, you like computers, right? You got a big computer at your house and you spend a lot of time on it. Have your parents ever taken it away from you? Probably not, because you're perfect. But if they did, would you commit arson and burn your house to the ground?
No.
Would it even cross your mind? Would you think maybe, you know what, I should light this place up? Mom and Dad are mean.
Probably not, especially given that that's probably where the computer is.
No, yeah, well, it is, for sure. Then he said he would shoot her after the house burned to the ground. This is what happens when you don't whoop your kids. This is what happens when you don't take that hand and you put it squarely on their bum. This is what happens when, like yesterday, when my son punched me in the stomach. And it was it was all in good fun. He thought, what did I do? I hit him back. Why? He needed to understand you can't do that. People will say, well, that's cruel. That's cruelty. You hit your kids. Yeah, but here's the difference. My kid doesn't walk into Walmart, and if I tell him no, throws a freaking tantrum. You know why? Because he's going to get that little tushy tore up. That's why. When I grew up, I was 19 years old. I was as big, strong as an ox, athletic as all get out. I was playing college baseball. I was a man, by God. My 90-year-old great-grandmother heard me back-talk my mother. Now, mind you, I'm a grown man. She said, Zachary, get my shoe. And I said, I'm sorry, what? Big Mama? That's what we called her, Big Mama. She said, get over and get my shoe and bring it over here. Yes, ma'am. I went and got her house shoe, and I carried it over. And she said, now bend over. I'm going to whoop your butt. I said, what'd I do, Big Mama? She said, you back-talked your mama. I said, yes, ma'am. And I bent over, and look, it didn't hurt at all. She was a 90-year-old frail woman. But the reality is, I was raised with a sense of discipline and respect. If my mom or dad said, don't do this, I knew for a fact if I did it, there was going to be heck to pay for it. What we have here is a failure to discipline our children. And it's not just this kid. Now, this may be a very extreme example. This may be as bad as it gets. But what we have here is a failure to look. Young parents, if you're out there listening, which you're probably up because you haven't slept much because you have young kids and you don't sleep when you have young kids. Whoop the snot out of your kids. I told my wife when we had Zayden I was going to whoop him once a day for his sanity, his health, and for mine. And there's not much over-exaggeration in that. Because the reality is, these kids are grown up today to be so freaking spoiled and what's the word? They're entitled and they're all these things. We got a bunch of kids that they've never been told no in their life. And I'm going to bet the games that we were playing on that computer were probably pretty violent. I don't think he was playing World of Warcraft, okay? I'll put it that way. And man, I just don't understand. Look, give us a call, 1-866-494-WVNN. I want to talk about spanking your kids. Let's talk about spanking your kids. Let's talk about physical discipline for your children as a response to misbehavior, disobedience, lack of discipline, whatever. I whooped snot out of mine. I'll tell you all about it. I'll tell you, I mean, literally, my son is the best behaved 4-year-old I know. Now, oftentimes, my wife and I look at each other and like, oh my gosh, our son's a little holy terror. And then we carry him out around anybody else. Literally, you put him in a room with any other kid in the world, and we look at each other and we're like, we did okay. We're doing okay. There's a long way to go. He's 4, so long way to go. But I want to hear from somebody. Let's talk about it. Who didn't spank their kids? Who did spank? Connor, were you spanked as a child?
Not really.
Did you ever do anything? Connor, I feel like you were probably you're probably hard to spank. I don't think you did much. You probably didn't do anything wrong, did you?
No, I was perfect in every way.
That's kind of what I figured. What about you, Antonio? You got that tushy tore up?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you know what that created in your life? Discipline. Yeah. You know what? If your parents said, "Hey, Antonio," all right. So did they pay for college?
No.
Okay, so you pay for your own school. So my parents had an agreement with me that as long as I had a scholarship and there were certain benchmarks I had to meet, and then I got my college paid for. But guess what happened when I didn't meet those benchmarks? My dad called me one day. I'll never forget. Ring, ring, ring. Hello. Hey, Dad. What are you doing? Oh, nothing. What are you doing, son? The night before, I had made a very bad decision with my debit card, and so there was a trail that was evidence of the crime that I'd committed. He said, "Son, what'd you do last night?" I'm like, nothing, Dad. Nothing at all. He said, "Oh, yeah? Well, your debit card says different. So I love you very much. And I wish you the best. But you can pick up your phone bill. You can pick up your insurance tab. You can start paying for your college. Your cell phone bill costs $75 a month. Your this costs that. Your this costs that." He said, "I'm here for you. I love you. If you need anything, you know I'm always your dad. But you have made a bad decision. You have broken our rules, and these are the consequences." And that lesson was probably the most transformative lesson I've ever learned in my entire life, because literally I went from being on mommy and daddy's dime to growing up in a matter of seconds because I made a bad decision. We got Tim on line 3. Tim from Athens. Tim, bring it in here, big guy. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm in my 60s, and I remember getting some whipping sticks from the whipping tree.
Oh, yeah.
Mom took care of the problem that way. I recall that Mom was able to drop 4 kids off in the Sears suit section, and we were told to sit there, and that's what we did.
Yeah, the whooping tree was always a rough go for me, because you know, hey, go get a switch out of the tree, and it's like, I'd rather get a sponge. How about a sponge? What am I gonna pick here? If I pick a big one, it's gonna break my leg. If I pick a small one, it's gonna absolutely wear me out.
You get whooped harder for picking a small one.
You picked the wrong one. She goes and gets one. You're like, oh. So it's like this
If you think about it, that was a very savage way of parenting back then, because my parents did the same thing. Going to pick the weapon you were going to get whooped. I mean, that's...
At one point, my mom made me take my belt off. I'm like, what? Like, use your own belt, woman. No, I'm kidding. There was another time that I'll never forget. And to this day, when I see Orange Dial, like the original Orange Dial soap in a squirt bottle, I throw up violently because I decided to backtalk my mother and say something that I was pretty. I mean, like, I didn't curse my mom. But I backtalked her pretty. Look, if you can't tell, I've got a pretty sharp sword, if you will, with the old tongue here. Like, I can respond very passive aggressively in a way that cuts to the core. My mom said, "Come here, son." I'm like, okay, what? This is weird. Like, she hasn't given me a bath in 20 years. Like, what are we doing here? She grabbed my toothbrush. She squirted 2 big squirts of Dial soap and said, "Lean over." And she commenced to brushing my teeth with orange Dial soap. She washed my mouth out with soap. And people are like, that's not a true story. I promise you, I bet my life on it. This is as true of a story as I could ever tell you. And guess what I didn't do anymore? Backtalk my mom. Because I really didn't want my mouth washed out with soap. And the reality is, this whole culture of it's abused. It's unhealthy. The only thing unhealthy about it is the fact that you're setting your kids up for absolute failure as they move forward. Because in life, there are consequences for actions. This young man is going to be charged with a felony. He's going to go to jail for arson, or at least have arson on his record, because his mom never disciplined him. And unfortunately, we've got an entire society of young entitled children or older children, kids, whatever, that have never experienced this, that have no idea what it means to have any discipline whatsoever. And it's a freaking shame. We've got one more call before we go to break. We got Kenneth from Tony on line 4. Kenneth, bring it in here. Tell me about your whooping tree.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I've been listening for a few minutes, and I agree with you 1,000% to a certain degree. But I wanted to point one thing out that you folks haven't addressed. Well, if you did, I didn't catch it. Is that some of us were beat really bad.
Sure.
And when I was young, I'm 71 and 2 months. I was beat horribly for 3 years by my uncle, and I swore. Of course, I grew up with my mother also, and I didn't get that beaten that bad. But it was always physical. He hit everything: coat hangers, hairbrushes, you name it, sticks. But my uncle was a sadist. And there are those of us that swore that we would never hit our children when we grew up. My discipline was put them in the corner, and I may have overdone that.
No, I completely
to point that out.
Yeah, absolutely, Kenneth. And there is a fine line between discipline and anger. My mom's thing was never do anything in anger, and that's the way we try to raise our child, because anger provokes a more violent approach. So you're listening to Hometown Heartbeat on WVNN. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Hometown Heartbeat.
You go as hard as you can. And then a little harder.
And then it was like I stepped funny,
Mm-hmm.
and I could barely walk on it.
Okay, let's take a look.
At Lang Chiropractic, we'll help your sports performance and your overall health by improving your range of motion, flexibility, relieving inflammation, and so much more. Focusing to improve your health and wellness in all areas of your life. Whether you're having trouble with back pain, neck pain, or just want to start feeling better when you wake up in the morning, Dr. David Lang is focused on a whole person approach, finding those underlying causes and creating a personalized plan for your individual needs. Schedule your visit by calling 256-444-1600. That's 444-1600. At Lang Chiropractic on Highway 72 East in Athens in the Publix Shopping Center. Visit us online at langchiropracticcenter.com. Lang Chiropractic, we've got your back. Come see us today.
Though the world is full of wonders to amaze you as you roam, some of life's greatest treasures are found very close to home.
Find your own treasures at Highway 31 Flea Market. We have it all. Lots of furniture, both painted and project pieces, along with chairs, tables, televisions, books, and so much more. Our prices are unbeatable with products you'll love. Maybe you're looking for a bed frame, or maybe some tools. You'll find a great selection right here at Highway 31 Flea Market. We also have all kinds of collectibles and antiques. Want even more deals? You can jump on board with our week-long online auctions, beginning every Tuesday at 7 p.m. It's simple. You can join the auction at fleamarket.hibid.com. That's fleamarket.hibid.com. And be sure to visit us Monday through Saturday from 9 till 5 at Highway 31 Flea Market on Highway 31 South in Athens. What will you find when you shop Highway 31 Flea Market?
What's going on, everybody? Zach Walker, your big, beautiful, bearded host here on Hometown Heartbeat. I wanted to talk about my friends over at Cotton Row Productions. If you're a church creative or pastor and throughout this coronavirus, you have decided it's time to invest in your live stream capabilities, look at what we're doing here. The Dale Jackson Show and Hometown Heartbeat are proudly produced by Cotton Row Productions, and they are the best in live media production and creative for your church. They work with any budget, any amount of equipment. Look, it's a frustrating process, I know, and they are the best in the business at getting you and your message live streamed. And when we're talking about the gospel, what more important message? So reach out to my friends at Cotton Row Productions at 256-289-7355. Again, that's 256-289-7355. And when you call, make sure you ask for producer Connor from Hometown Heartbeat and the Dale Jackson Show. They'll take great care of you. What's going on, everybody? Zach Walker, your big, beautiful, boisterous, bearded host from Hometown Heartbeat, 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. on WVNN. Let me tell you something. We are so excited to be joining you guys on the radio, on the live stream, on the podcast, on the website, on the interweb, on the Facebox, on the Tweetergram. We are fired up. And you should be too, because it's one of the only places you can get real truth in the media. So make sure that you go to thehometownheartbeat.com, thehometownheartbeat.com, and at the top, click Listen Live, Watch Live, or Podcast. Every day the archive comes out, no commercials. You can get smarter and not have to listen to ads. Make sure you join us every day, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. on WVNN. That's thehometownheartbeat.com. Stay classy, San Diego.
News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN.
Welcome back to Hometown Heartbeat. I am Zach Walker, your big, beautiful, bearded host, checking in with producer Connor, Antonio filling in for DJ Dallas. We are joined by Athens Mayor Roddy Marks. Mayor, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great, Zach. Thank you for the invitation.
You said we have a crisis in Athens.
We have a crisis in Athens. We have a shortage of aluminum, and Diet Sun Drops
are in the bottles only.
In the bottles only, plastic.
Why do you like what? But you don't like the bottles better?
No, man.
Why?
I don't know. They just don't taste the same.
That's too
my
good.
My wife is into a deep state of depression about this issue.
Is she?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you are the mayor.
Yeah.
You don't have some strings you can pull?
It's about like that CSX railroad on Elm Street. It's kind of a little bit out of my control.
Between that and the lights on 72, Mayor, you're failing all of us, man. No, I'm kidding. So we are leading up to how many days away now?
14 yesterday.
Last
14 today,
time it was 35. Now we're 2 weeks in.
Yeah, we're down into it. We're having a lot of fun, so it's going well.
So the mayoral election, as you guys that listen to the show often know, is something that we spend a lot of time with the current mayor, who's a great friend and of the show and of us personally, and has been great to work with through our stuff so far. And so, as many of you know, we're a business owner. I mean, the radio is something we do secondarily to our primary business, and so we've had lots of interactions prior to this radio opportunity. This has just given us an opportunity to sit down and dive into it a little bit more. But the mayor loves coming in and talking through platform and issues, and so we'll jump right into it. I had a comment from a listener, Vance George, and he is curious, and I'm just going to read his quote word for word so that we give it the respect. What are the mayoral candidates and mayors plan to remove the new homeless city where approximately 50 homeless now live on city property behind the old recycling center across from Roselawn? Crime has escalated in the area. Constant flow of homeless on bicycles are driving through nearby homeless camps. Look like a tornado has ravaged the area with unsanitary trash and squalid living conditions. I have loved ones buried in Roselawn, and it dishonors their memory. Go over there and hang out for 15 minutes. You'll see. Does Athens have a homeless shelter such as Huntsville. He says this issue will be paramount in deciding who I vote for. And so I'm going to give you an opportunity to. He also, one comment, he says Athens has a terrific police department, and he thanks you for that. But he is curious as to your response, and I guess I was unaware. So I'm also curious to the response.
And a great question. Vance and I have exchanged a few communications, and a couple of things. Let me try to touch on that. That crime has not increased in the area. There has been a good bit of harassment, and it is an issue. It's a very emotional issue that is going on throughout our community because there are lots of people that have camped out in that area. It absolutely is a concern. It absolutely is a concern that needs to be addressed. We had with the city council a draft ordinance some time ago, and we tried to go down with our police department and try to say, hey guys, things are going to have to kind of calm down here. We got trash everywhere. I mean, there were actually people living in culverts over there during the winter months. There were folks that had garbage cans and things strode out everywhere with food and other things there. We have an issue, and it's behind the old Roselawn Cemetery, and people are being harassed when they walk on the walking trail. Our councilman, Chris Seibert, was not at the last city council meeting, but we have a draft ordinance to remove the homeless folks from city property. Now, where they go from there, we're going to try to be humane about this issue as much as we can and ask people if we can bus them and move them to homeless shelters if there's any space available in either Huntsville or Decatur. People come to me quite often and say, why don't you build a homeless shelter? Well, there are so many variables or issues connected with that it's a very difficult issue for the city or the county to take on. And, I don't want to just kick the ball to somebody else, sure. But where are the church organizations and others as we come together to try to resolve and relieve this problem? Anyone that knows anything about the Salvation Army Home and the others over in Huntsville know that they may have 50 beds, they may have 30 beds. And when you got 100 people lined up, you maybe put 30 people in there for the night. You feed them, you clothe them for a certain amount of time. They go outside and wait again till tomorrow or for breakfast and for lunch. I went over there a couple of weeks ago, as a matter of fact, and saw the homeless across from Salvation Army in Huntsville, and they were dumping trash down in the place that takes the water. I mean, the drainage down through there. It's an issue that must be addressed. We have a draft ordinance to remove them from city property because there is harassment, people that are walking on the trail, and honestly, some of the homeless are going down in the creek and taking baths or bathing themselves. There's a lady, a very good friend of mine, and another group of church folks that want to look at something called Shower Up. Mm-hmm. And if you're
Mobile
not
shower.
familiar with it, then they set up shower stations for the homeless to come in. That does not resolve your problem about where the homeless go, where they sleep at night, how they eat, and other things. But it is. Vance is correct. He is on target, and it's an issue that must be addressed. But it's a community issue, and it's not just a mayoral issue.
No, and that's something I definitely. I mean, you've hit a hot button for me for sure because as I would say, I'm probably a libertarian in terms of where I stand on personal freedoms and independent responsibility, and the moral issues of the Libertarian Party is where I kind of fall short there. But as far as the personal freedom side of things, and so the concept that government is created to solve those issues is a fallacy in thinking. It's not what the way this was set up was government at the federal level, small, unintrusive, out of the way. At the local level, very involved. But when it comes to charity is the job of the church. And the church, where we've completely missed the boat as a society is in utilizing the church is being underutilized as a secondary or complementary piece to government. You should have churches Mayor Marks, there's a church on every street corner in Athens, if not two. You should have people lined up asking, how can we help alleviate this issue for the orphans and the widows, because the only thing mentioned more than orphans and widows in the Bible is money. Yeah. And the two of those issues pretty well go hand in hand in this case. And so, there's all kinds of organizations. Room at the Inn is a great one. They're very active in the Southeast. We could definitely, in fact, there is one in Muscle Shoals or Florence, and I've actually made contact with them. It's been a year now, but made contact with them about coming up here, and they do this incredible program where they partner with churches, and then they bring the homeless into the churches for a place to sleep and a shower and a shave and all that. And so, I don't know the issues as well as you do, obviously, but at a high level, it's not the government's job to provide that benevolence care.
Well,
benevolence is the job of the church, and it always has been, and it always will be as long as we're constitutional, which of course we're running away from that as fast as we can. Yeah. But constitutionally, very, very high level speaking, it shouldn't theoretically be the job of the government to do that.
Well, we're elected to take on tough issues.
Sure.
Anybody can serve when everything is good. And
That's
but Vance is on target with this. It's an issue that we must address, and I don't want to make light of it at all. When ladies and other people are walking on the walking trail down there and either exposed or they shout out abusive words and things, then we got to deal with that on our city property.
Well, and there's a difference in dealing with the nuisance created by and solving the problem of. So we've got Mayor Ronnie Marks of Athens in studio with us this morning. We're taking on the tough issues like sun drop and aluminum cans and homelessness in Athens. When we come back, the mayor's going to have the floor. We'll talk through what's going on, where we're headed. The election's 13 days away. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Hometown Heartbeat. This is News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. News starts now.
Joe Biden has chosen California Senator Kamala Harris as his running mate, making history by selecting a black woman for a major party's presidential ticket for the first time.
She was selected from a wide field of women candidates, including several women of color. One of those women was Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms.
I was disappointed that it was not me, but when I saw that it was Senator Harris, I was beyond thrilled.
Kamala Harris is the daughter of Jamaican and Indian immigrants and is the first black woman and the first Asian American woman to become a major party nominee for vice president. Biden and Harris will make their first joint appearance in Delaware later today, where they will deliver remarks and will later take part in a virtual grassroots fundraiser in the evening. Linda Kenyon, Washington.
A crumbling college football season took a massive hit Tuesday when the Big Ten and Pac-12, two historic and powerful conferences, succumbed to the pandemic by canceling their fall football seasons. I'm John Trout.
What's going on, everybody? Zach Walker, your big, beautiful, bearded host here on Hometown Heartbeat. I wanted to talk about my friends over at Cotton Row Productions. If you're a church, creative, or pastor, and throughout this coronavirus, you have decided it's time to invest in your live stream capabilities, look at what we're doing here. The Dale Jackson Show and Hometown Heartbeat are proudly produced by Cotton Row Productions, and they are the best in live media production and creative for your church. They work with any budget, any amount of equipment. Look, it's a frustrating process, I know, and they are the best in the business at getting you and your message live streamed. And when we're talking about the gospel, what more important message? So reach out to my friends at Cotton Row Productions at 256-289-7355. Again, that's 256-289-7355. And when you call, make sure you ask for producer Connor from Hometown Heartbeat and the Dale Jackson Show. They'll take great care of you.
Oftentimes, people save their fine dining experience for a special occasion. That's wonderful, but isn't all of life a celebration?
I survived Tuesday.
We finished the homework and nobody cried.
I was awake for the entire conference call.
Life is short.
why wait to celebrate?
Join us at the Rail Yard for an extraordinary meal. Just because we'll be reopening on August 13th, reclaiming the spot for downtown Decatur's hottest spot for delicious farm to fork Southern comfort food, craft beer, craft cocktails, and always great times. That recipe, combined with the amazing atmosphere of the local history of downtown Decatur, makes the Rail Yard the perfect place for an afternoon lunch or a relaxing evening out. The Rail Yard on 2nd Avenue in beautiful downtown Decatur. Make your reservations online at therailyarddecatur.com or call 256-580-5707. That's 580-5707. Craft beer, farm to fork, Southern comfort food, and always a good time.
According to the Los Angeles Times editorial board, all the evidence points to one conclusion. It is too late, folks. We humans dragged our feet for too long. Global warming is here, and it's impossible to undo. We're doomed. As a result, we're going to face more extreme heat, longer droughts, more ferocious hurricanes, and other horrible climate events that will threaten the global food supply. And more migrants, as people are forced to leave their scorched earth homes in order to survive in our scorched earth homes. Now, to cope with all of this horror, we humans, well, we're going to have to change our ways. Governments around the world must get rid of fossil fuel. We must turn to renewable energy. We must sign on to more global warming money grabs, blah, 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 the usual dribble. But that's not all. The LA Times says that change is needed on an individual level, and that's where you come in. You must do the right thing. You need to cut way back on your meat consumption. You have to drive less. You have to use more public transit. You have to use less air conditioning. You have to pay more for the products and services you've taken for granted for all these years, because you are to blame. Look, we're done. We're doomed. But if you sacrifice, maybe we can be a little less doomed, even if it does cost more. Does anybody want any part of this nonsense? Athletes nationwide talking about the relief they're getting from Level Select CBD sports creams and roll-ons from Cadenwood, the leader in CBD. Baseball legend Steve Garvey, with a National League record 1,207 consecutive games, uses Level Select CBD daily. He swears by it. Countless other athletes, including former quarterback Carson Palmer, PGA champion Ricky Fowler, find Level Select CBD helps keep them in the game. It works for them. It can work for you, too. Level Select CBD has a full line of products to choose from, all independently tested, made in the USA with 0% THC. Go to levelselectcbd.com. Use the promo code CBD30 for 30% off any of their CBD products. That's levelselectcbd.com and the promo code CBD30.
Not available in Idaho, Iowa.
770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Depend on it.
Welcome back to Hometown Heartbeat. I am Zach Walker, your big, beautiful, bearded host. Checking in with producer Connor and Antonio filling in for DJ Dallas. We've got Mayor Ronnie Marks in the studio. Mayor, I don't know if you've got back problems, but I do. And when I do, I go see Dr. Lang at Lang Chiropractic. He is the only chiropractor I've ever gone to that actually cared more about making me well, not just stopping the pain. And so we are proud to have Dr. David Lang as the official chiropractor of Hometown Heartbeat. Give him a call today at 256-444-1600. Schedule your appointment. Dr. Lang has your back, I promise. So, Mayor, we are coming in here talking about what's going on in the city. We got an election in 2 weeks. You are running opposed. Russ Johnson opposite. I guess there's some more other candidates, but really just two, as far as I can tell, in terms of those that have some real support and some momentum. And so let's talk about issues. Let's talk about growth. I know everybody's concerned about growth, and everywhere you Mayor, you can't throw a rock from anywhere in the city of Athens and not hit a new development.
Yeah, and I tell you, we got. I may have mentioned it before, but we've got our greatest success is our greatest challenge, and that's growth. And I mean, it's on us. It has happened so fast. We have about 27,000, a little over 27,000 in population right now. We've got 4,000 housing units approved. That's already approved. You put 2 people in each of those houses, that's another 8,000 people. That puts your population in Athens at over 35,000 folks. That is a challenge in many ways, and we can get into a lot of them, like infrastructure, sewer, a lot of other things, but it is a great challenge. We've got at least 3 other subdivisions that I know of that will be in the front of the Planning Commission in the next month or so. It's about 800 more houses. So you start looking at this issue, and you start looking at handling traffic flow and making sure that sewer is there. Get your electrical hookups. Some people are not aware, but the city of Athens owns the electric service for all of Limestone County. So anytime there is an industry, let's say whether it be Mazda Toyota or a subdivision that is coming into town, our electric department are the first ones at the table to talk about what service is needed, what things have to happen. And we've been trying to get contractors to even come in and help us with electrical hookups. We're running behind on them. It's not a good thing to admit. And I had a long meeting with our electric folks yesterday and said, look, we're slammed. Then we've got sewer issues. We've got particularly going down South Lindsay Lane. There's a couple of developments down there. You know that Huntsville Browns Ferry Road will be 5-laned all the way over to Highway 31. And there is a development where a corporate office flew in yesterday with their corporate jet, and we met all day yesterday, all yesterday afternoon. They're meeting again today, and it's a huge project. And one of the issues is getting $3 million of sewer down to that area. Now, will it pay for itself in the future? It certainly will. But the thing is to look at the revenue stream and the expenses of putting the revenue up front and betting on putting the expense up front and betting on the revenue on the back end. Those are challenges. When do you go to city council to say, hey, man, I need $3 million to run sewers here. We need all the easements. And, oh, by the way, it may have a payback in 10 or 15 years. That's not what you want to hear when you go to the bank. You know, we look at retail developments, and we give incentives for those in a small way about building streets like Panda Express and Twice Daily there. The issue is I can calculate a sales tax and the amount of money it would take me to rebate that effort of $300,000 or whatever it is there to help build that street. And when you can calculate 2.5, 3 years that I can fully be repaid for that expense up front, then that's a no-brainer to me. I can go to the bank with that any day and say, hey, I got full recovery of this expense in 3 years. They'll say, well, line up. You know, how much money you need to line up. And that's the tough part of the job. This is, and I mentioned to you, I think this is a contact sport.
Sure.
And it's contacts with who you know, even at the state level for any kind of ADECA, which is Alabama Development funding sources, which is not that much. But you start pulling from sources, and you start pulling particularly from those people developing the areas to say, I can get sewer to within 500 feet of you, but you're 500 feet. But 500 feet of you may be a mile. And, so we've got some issues with growth, and it's going to continue for a while. It's a great challenge to have, but it also is one that touches gas, water, sewer, electric, and the planning for that has been going on, but it's hit us fast.
And that's part of the thing. I mean, the foresight and the looking forward that we maybe could have done.
Yeah.
A lot of this has happened so quickly that it would have been unreasonable to expect that. The question I have about the sewer conversation you just had is, you're talking about how potentially 10 or 12 years down the road it pays itself back. What's the flip side of that? The flip side of that being that the big corporation flies in on their big corporate jet. They come in, they don't like what they hear, and then they go to the county and build it there, and then I guess I understand the position it puts you in, certainly, because the fiscal responsibility that you have demonstrated is one of my favorite parts of what you've done. And so I'm torn, because on one hand I'm in growth mode, but on the other hand it's like, we got to be smart with our money. And so how do you balance that?
Well, it's not an easy issue to deal with, Zach, and it's quite honestly, we have lots of meetings. We're very fortunate in the city of Athens that COVID-related, we are still up with our general fund. General fund meaning police, fire, street sanitation, and those issues, where utilities is electric, water, gas, and some of those issues, which is a separate issue a little bit. They generate their own, we buy and sell gas and we sell it as a profit. So, but the sales tax is up in the general fund, which is a tremendous help with at least police and fire and some of the other units. But managing that is a tough issue. We try to screw those budgets down on the front end as tight as we can to try to make them work. And quite often we run into issues of how fast the growth is. We have grown 25.1% for the city of Athens. That's huge. And we may
that's a quarter.
Well, yeah,
I mean, we took 1/4 of the population and added them back.
They say, well, hey, man, we can manage 2 or 3% over a period of time, and we can gradually get there. But you get slammed to 25%. Then anyone, and I would challenge, I think my energy and passion is as strong as anybody's, but you're challenged with either the manpower that's being pulled from other places, or you're challenged with just the growth itself.
Sure.
But it will continue to be an issue for a while.
No doubt about that. You're listening to Hometown Heartbeat here on WVNN. I am Zach Walker, your big, beautiful, bearded host. We've got the mayor in studio with us. When we come back, we've got one more segment talking about Athens, talking about the election, talking about Sundrop. We'll talk about whatever we want to because we have a good time when we're here. Check us out at thehometownheartbeat.com. That's thehometownheartbeat.com. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Hometown Heartbeat.
You go as hard as you can. And then a little harder.
Come on. And then it was like I stepped funny,
Mm-hmm.
and I could barely walk on it.
Okay, let's take a look.
At Lang Chiropractic, we'll help your sports performance and your overall health by improving your range of motion, flexibility, relieving inflammation, and so much more. Focusing to improve your health and wellness in all areas of your life. Whether you're having trouble with back pain, neck pain, or just want to start feeling better when you wake up in the morning, Dr. David Lang is focused on a whole person approach, finding those underlying causes and creating a personalized plan for your individual needs. Schedule your visit by calling 256-444-1600. That's 444-1600. At Lang Chiropractic on Highway 72 East in Athens in the Publix Shopping Center. Visit us online at langchiropracticcenter.com. Lang Chiropractic, we've got your back. Come see us today.
This is Mike 4 years ago. This is Mike having the same conversation with Debbie just last month. And today, he's at it again.
What's that, Mike?
I said our house is still underwater.
How do you know? Have you had it appraised lately?
Oh, well, no.
Has the coronavirus made your life less financially stable? Are you worried about your next mortgage payment? Reed's Family REI is a family-based real estate investing company ready to buy your house for cash in any area or condition and close in 2 weeks. You don't have to fix it up. There's no agent fees, and we handle the closing costs. Selling a home can be very stressful, and Wyatt Reed and his team at Reed's Family REI will put together the best possible offer for your specific needs. Sell your home fast with Reed's Family REI. 931-292-2875. That's 931-292-2875. And online at reedsfamilyrei.org. Reed's Family REI. Creative real estate experts for all your buying or selling needs.
Karen's a quilter.
Karen's Quality Quilts. Quality custom quilts quickly.
How's the quilting business, Karen?
Kinda quiet. My quest to quadruple my quilting sales has created a quagmire.
Can I be candid, Karen?
Okay.
You need a website that can encompass the quality of your quilts.
I know quilts, but I don't know computers. They're confusing.
But there are people who know coding like you know quilting.
Who's that?
I'm glad you asked. WebUnderdog creates websites that don't just catch the eye, they catch customers. And they're as user-friendly for you as they are for your clients. We build high-quality, clean, well-coded, custom designs for organizations of all sizes that are affordable, professional, and specially made for your brand and visitors. Outside of responsive web design, WebUnderdog also offers search engine optimization, website management, and so much more. Give your business the professional touch and contact WebUnderdog for a free web design quote. Call 256-998-0667. That's 998-0667 and online at webunderdog.com. WebUnderdog, your local web design and SEO agency.
What's going on, everybody? Zach Walker here, the big, beautiful, bearded host of WVNN's smartest show on the radio, Hometown Heartbeat. Listen, if you're building or buying or remodeling a house, the first thing you need to think about is your cabinets. You'll spend the most money there and oftentimes get the least return on your investment. Our friends at Cabinet Express Online are the only game in town that we trust here at Hometown Heartbeat. Give them a call today at 256-970-5857. Let them come out to your house, do a free consultation, 3D rendering of the home. It's absolutely beautiful. It's awesome. Their prices won't be beat, and I promise you'll be satisfied just like I was with my cabinets from Cabinet Express Online. Again, call our friends at Cabinet Express Online at 256-970-5857 or visit them on the web at cabinetsexpressonline.com.
770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Depend on it.
Welcome back to Hometown Heartbeat. I am your big, beautiful, bearded host. Check it in, producer Connor, Antonio filling in for DJ Dallas. We have Mayor Ronnie Marks in studio, and the stories are just a-flowing. So when we left, we were talking about growth. We were talking about sewer. We were talking about problems. We were talking about issues. You've repeatedly said all you have to do to win the mayor's race is get all the lights synced up on 72. I've gotten more feedback on that one comment than I have on any real issue. As we all know, there's nothing you can do about that.
If anybody believes that, please.
Yeah.
But now they have made some improvements.
I've noticed they've gotten a little bit better.
A little bit of improvement.
Well, when you drive through there at 4 o'clock in the morning,
yes.
You really tend to notice it if you're getting stopped because there's not a car anywhere.
No, you can zoom on through it.
Yes, yeah. We got to get another restaurant to open up before 5 a.m. Can you do that for me, Mayor?
Can you not get there?
No, because I go on the air at 5, and so I need somebody to open up 4:30.
Nobody is open for you.
Oh, I don't know about Duncan. I don't know about Duncan. I don't think I don't think there's anybody open 4 or 5. Is there? There's Starbucks, but I can't afford $24 for a black coffee that tastes like garbage. I'm kidding.
What is this, Zach? I'll get back to you.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Shake my hand. Say, you know what? We will look into that and move on. So, look, I'm going to give you the floor. I mean, you always have something going on. I mean, you're up to your elbows in alligators with the growth. I mean, those numbers are amazing. 25% in such a short period of time. I mean, we literally took a quarter of our population and snapped our fingers and magically recreated them.
Yeah.
We have the largest new housing market in the state, if not the region.
Right.
Our prices we're matching Madison and Huntsville dollar for dollar now in real estate. Obviously some tax opportunity there, as you know, in selling all these new houses, but I don't know. The floor is yours, Mayor. I mean, we're 14 days out. What do the people need to know going to the ballot box 2 weeks from yesterday to make their selection? Why do they vote for Ronnie Marks?
Yeah, well, thank you for that, and I appreciate it. I think I bring to the table experience, firsthand experience, and I really am not one that wants to just throw names out. But let me tell you, when you walk into a meeting, all the way from whether you agree with the governor or anyone else, you build these relationships that are extremely important to the city of Athens. That history is important. When the DOT director calls you on the phone, or when the ADECA director calls, and when you walk into meetings and you bring projects like the intersection that need to be changed out by Highway 31 close to the school there, and you're short $250,000, and you pick up the phone and you call the Speaker of the House, Mac McCutcheon, and you say, Mr. Speaker, can you help us to get a meeting somewhere there to try to help us with the funding to make our school system and the turn lanes and the safety there for our children going not only to Athens Bible School, but into the Athens High School and those turn lanes. And they say, yeah, let me get back to you. And those are issues I guess I'm on the air bragging about them, but you pick up the phone and you call people and you call them to the table and you work, because that's what I said about being a contact sport. We are in this together. This is not an I. This is not anywhere that there's an I in this mayoral race. It's community, but we've got the energy right now and the passion, all the way from downtown to what's going on with the developers. Overall, we have a tremendous growth pattern, and we've got some tremendous positive things going on. Is there things to work on? Absolutely. And either I'll get them done, or the next person, or the next person. Look, this is not a sprint. This is a relay race, and we run this race, and sometime we hand the baton to the next person.
That's right.
And we lay the groundwork for that, but we lay that groundwork with the foundation of family, of quality of life. And I can tell you, as I go through, people will talk about violence in the neighborhood, if there is any. They will talk about police and fire and others, and then unless it personally impacts them, they generally trust you to take care of the city. But we got to lay a foundation, and I'm so proud of what we've done with the young people and getting them involved, not only in the mayor's youth commission, but to challenge them to say, what do you want your city to look like? You know, we did outside dining because a group of people came to us and said, we need to look at that. We rented some issues with Terry Richardson that did that there, because the ABC will not let us serve alcohol unless there's a barrier there.
Sure.
So we're doing away with that, and we're going to make that permanent. But it's feedback from citizens. Look, get on board. This is not difficult. This is life. And if you're going to sit on the sidelines or on the armchair and worry about whether somebody should have thrown that pass that got intercepted, or whether you want to get involved, we're open. My door's open. I had a lady come to me yesterday and said, the people in Northtown don't know you. I said, then they must not want to. I said, because I am almost everywhere. That happened to be an African-American family that said, the young people don't know you. And I said, well, get them at the table. Get them at the table.
And part of that, and I mean, and you know, I love you, Mayor, but part of that is also the responsibility of you at
Sure.
I mean, to get out and make the effort
is.
to know. And for me, it's easy to sit here and say, it's easy for me to get to know you because
Right.
I have a platform
Right.
that benefits you. And so there's a mutually beneficial relationship. Now, we had a relationship prior to this platform existing, but at the same time, I mean, we do have to make the effort to get out.
do.
And you do that. And you do that. And so it's just a matter of people don't want to take on the responsibility of being involved. They just want to complain because it's easy to do. It requires no effort, no talent, no skill. It's easy to just say, you know what? I mean, the mayor should knock on my door and introduce himself.
Yeah.
Well, Mayor, you can't knock on every door in Athens. I know you've tried.
Well, I enjoy doing that.
But you can't reach especially growing at 25% clips over 2 years.
Yeah.
And so, but no, you're right. The accessibility. And I've been amazed by this, honestly. The mayor of Decatur, the mayor of Huntsville, the mayor of Madison. I've not yet spoken with Mr. Battle, but in our surrounding areas, it still is small town USA.
It is.
You have access to the mayor. You can there's friendships and relationships that can be sparked that are authentic and genuine and are not rooted in what can you do for me and what can I do for you, and that's unique. And people need to take advantage of that. They need to understand that.
Yeah, a real easy question. I was in the middle of working with this corporate office yesterday morning, which was really fun. That's things that I love to bring to the community, because if we can pull this off, it'll be a great benefit. People will love it. But in the middle of it, I get a phone call, and I said, ma'am, I'll have to get back with you right. You know, I did answer, and you said, well, I'm picking up trash from Jiffy's Food Mart all the way over to Browns Ferry Road. I've got 2 bags, and I ran into you one time, and you told me if I would call you, you'd come help me. And I said, yes, ma'am, I will, and I promise you I will be out there in a little bit. Well, I called as soon as I got out of that meeting. She said, I've picked up my 3 bags of trash. It's hot out here today. I'll call you next time. But those are things that are kind of fun, and those are things that I like help
Well,
doing.
and I've told this story 100 times, and I love telling it because it's funny to me. I remember the first meeting we had about some business, something a while back. You made sure you got your number in my cell phone, and I'm like, okay, this mayor, he's a politician, he's saying that, but I'll call, his assistant will pick up, and I'll talk to her, and she'll. Sure enough, I pick up the phone and call you one day, and Mayor Marks answers the phone. Zack Attack, what you doing? And I'm like, wait a minute. Like you took the time, and it's not so much that you knew me or that but you took the time to program my number and save that and to make the effort. You had no idea why I was calling. Yeah. And there was nothing in it for you. It was just at this point, it was just a citizen calling to talk to his mayor, and that's something that's unique. And again, I'm not taking away from anybody else in the race or saying that they wouldn't be accessible, but I don't know them. Yeah. And I can speak to Mayor Marks because we've been underneath your leadership for the entire time that I've lived in Athens. Yeah. And so, you're right. I talked to Mo Brooks a few weeks ago. We interviewed him, and he made a point that he said, if you are concerned, we are locked into a battle, and you've got to get off the sidelines and get into the game. And there's never been a better time to get into the game. Mayor, we've got about a minute and a half left. So hit us with the most important stuff.
We need to stay grounded in our values, in our strengths, in our family values, and hold firm to not only our Christian values, but what makes the family work. And everything that we can do at our level to make that happen is where we got to stay focused. We can talk about growth, we can talk about sewer, but if we don't have the safety where our citizens feel good and keep our families safe and keep the children safe, that's going to grow and help run this city in a few years, then we're not at the right place. And for our education and for other things. So, hey, I'm passionate about this. I love this city and this community, and I'm willing to serve, and I hope the people will elect me, and thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. And as always, we appreciate you joining us, and the election is just 13 days away, folks, so make sure that you are prepared, and make sure you spend some time learning about the candidates. Brian Terry, Russell Johnson, and I've reached out to Brian just recently, and I'm hoping to have him on and give him the opportunity. But our goal here is not backing a person. We want to make sure that the city has the leadership that it needs, and obviously, the relationship that exists is there, but it's more about you having the opportunity to educate people. They got to get educated. Yes. If they get educated, they'll make the right decision.
That's correct.
It's when you just go and throw darts at a board with a face on it, and that's how you vote, that we've got issues. So listen, it's the Wednesday edition of Hometown Heartbeat. We've had a wonderful time with you this morning. You can check us out online at thehometownheartbeat.com, thehometownheartbeat.com, on Facebook or YouTube. I am your big, beautiful, bearded host. We will check in with you guys tomorrow. We love you. We'll talk to you next time.
Stay safe.
Huntsville's